Let's look at another property that we have in geometry. I have a cylinder. A cylinder is basically a circle with some height. I have two cylinders. One that's 6 inches tall with a 2-inch radius. Another one that's 6 inches tall, but I'm going to double the radius. So I'm kind of curious, what happens to the overall volume of the cylinder if I double the radius? Well, if I double the radius, do you think the volume doubles? Or does something else happen? So let's get a sense of what we see. Here's a definition of the volume. Volume is pi r squared, which is a circle, times its height. So I want to look at that in both the smaller and also on the larger one. So let's look at the volume of the smaller circle, and I'll just designate it as V sub s. And that equals pi times its radius, which we discovered was 2. Take it to the second power just to fit it into an equation with a height of 6. So I have pi times 2 squared, which is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. So the volume of this smaller cylinder is 24 pi. If I look at where I doubled the radius, volume of the larger pi, the radius now is 4 squared times its height. 4 squared is 16. 16 times its height is 6. So I have a volume of 16 times 6, which is 96 pi. Well, if I compare the volume of the larger with the volume of the smaller, I see that 24 is not half of 96. The volume did more than just double. So let's look at the ratio between the smaller versus the larger. If I take the larger one, which is 96 pi, over the smaller one, and look at that ratio, it looks like then that I have a fraction, and I can reduce this down to 96 pi divided by 24 pi. Well, the pi is a version of 1, and 96 into 24, which is a 4. So it looks like that my volume increased 4 times as much when I simply increased the radius by 2.